The introduction of AI in the space of retail is causing revolutionary changes. We can see retailers such as Walmart use robots to deal with a surge of orders, and Lowe's, which uses robots to help customers locate what they were looking for. Hello, I'm Shiladitya, and in today's episode of Capgemini's Techipedia Series, we will be in conversation with Kalaivani Ganeshkumar, the Vice President North America BU of Capgemini, about the many ways digitization is changing the retail field and so much more. Let's take a quick break as we settle in for this journey.
Hello, everyone. It's been another great week on the IVM Podcasts Network. On IVM Likes, Jalasmi, Vinay, Sumit, and Snehil fawn over Shah Rukh Khan and his 30-year-long career. On Don Baika Gappa Aika, Aparna and Avanti explore the difficulties women face at the workplace. On Audio Gyan, Kedar talks to Jayasimha Chandrasekhar, founder of Atelier Prati, about printmaking. On Press Decode, Sara, Vagda and Prafulla discuss free speech in the light of Mohammed Zubair's arrest. And on Postcards from Nowhere, Utsav takes us through the stunning decline of the Irish language. We've got some exciting news for you. IVM Podcast has just launched its merch, and our first line is out now. Head to the IVM Podcast's website and click on the Shop tab to check out our first collection of t-shirts. Do follow us on social media via IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, do tell a friend. Also, don't forget to rate us on any platforms that you're listening on. And you can also check us out on YouTube. We're also doing a small listener survey to better understand how you respond to our shows and advertising on the network. We would really appreciate if you could spare a few minutes to fill it. It helps us build better shows for you. And finally, we would like to thank our sponsors this week: Capgemini, Intel vPro, and Intel, Future Banao Wonderful with Intel-powered laptops.
Hello, Kalai. How are you doing today? Welcome to Capgemini's Techipedia.
Thank you so much and pleasure to meet you, Shiladitya. I've heard a lot about you.
Thank you so much. It's great that we're doing this episode today. We've been having a wonderful series so far, talking to so many people from Capgemini, talking about some really interesting futuristic things, I would say, and topics that have been, fascinating. So I'm looking forward to this episode as well. I think it's a topic which everyone, again, would have, heard about, experienced, and is probably inquisitive about. So thank you so much for sharing, your views with us. I will jump right in, into the topic itself, which is, retail and technology in retail the way ahead. I mean, retail is something which touches all our lives. Obviously, we all have, experience retail day to day in so many shapes and forms. And, the last 2 years, of course, post 2020, post the pandemic and during the pandemic, it's changed, the way we behave, let's say our shopping experience, the way we approach products and brands, so much has changed. So, what would you say are, some of those changes that you've observed when it comes to consumer behavior, post 2020, change of consumer behavior in retail, I would say?
Sure. I'm more happy to answer, but this is the talk of the topic for the few years now. I think we are getting used to it. And I would call the COVID, the whole thing is all about the catalyst and really testing the world of the way we do business, be it retail or any other segment for that matter, right? It has just tested the flexibility and the agility we have and how do the survival happens in such situations, right? So I would say it's a real call out for us, all of us, right? So coming to the retail part of it and the consumer part of it, right? How the behavior of the consumer has changed, which we are into that business technology providers for retail customers, which is my primary job. What I found is health focus has become a number one priority for our consumers. Earlier, health was there, but not always thought through. So every product they buy, choose, they have become more conscious. What it is made up of, what are the effects and costs, and all those details people want to know. Another thing which I would want to call out is the hybrid shopping. People are pushed because they can't always go to the store and buy, and the online was there earlier also, but that has become a way of living. And then now I see that it is kind of coming to a plateau stage where it is trying to balance, because people have been inside home, now they are venturing outside. So we see that there is a kind of balance which we are achieving, physical versus digital. So I would call it as phygital shopping experience is what, we start seeing people doing, and it is more on the convenience now. So whether they want to do it sitting at home or whether they want to go out, so that has become a more of a choice, but they will anyway have that. Another thing what I observed is the cashless, right? People are very much used to cashless in India, and more than any other country I can see. One of the other countries I've experienced myself is Sweden, where it was completely cashless even 5 years back. Okay.
Right.
But now we are, cashless, at least for a few years, thanks to our monetization, demonetization, and then the COVID following that. It has all changed, right? Another one thing I'm seeing about is the experience. People are giving a lot more importance to their experience of the product they buy. Okay, so that is another thing I'm seeing. So these are, at least at a high level, I can think of experience and healthy and safe experience. That's what they are looking at.
Yeah, I think these were themes which sort of existed maybe in smaller pockets, or maybe they existed before as well, but they have definitely become mainstream. I think these are the themes, or rather the ways in which people now choose to go about their retail behavior. So everything, like you said, absolutely. I know I can see it in myself. I can see it in people around me, and even in the places where we thought that, communities or tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, where we thought things would not change. I think things have changed much, much faster. Another aspect of this is, when you said, of course, healthy, when you said, these sort of second order, I would say, choices that people are making around, what they buy, how they buy. Would you also say this theme around sustainability has also come up? I mean, given that, COVID and the pandemic brought people to, really consider how they are, behave them, how they, go about their lives, how they focus on health themselves, and also the world around them. So do you think sustainability is also a theme which has, played an active role when it comes to shopping?
Of course, very much. So not only in India, I'm seeing it around the globe. You're already aware the sustainability, global warming, energy conservation, and carbon emission. Those are taking much bigger role and importance. And of course, it is flowing through the individuals. Awareness is, at least in my view, it has increased multiple fold within every individual of our country as well. So, I can see that more and more coming. So what and how, if you look at it, I'm just drawing one more dot to what you said. So when you connect that to the retail industry, right? Mm-hmm. So what I want to buy, like I said a few minutes back, I was looking at the ingredients and I was looking at whether it is safe, healthy. And people have also not now started looking at how much of the carbon emission, how much of the wastage of water, how much of this one is going behind it. Because the inquisitiveness around sustainability and sustainability awareness is increasing. And be it schools and anywhere and everywhere, people are being taught about the sustainability and awareness. So what they are contributing to the social impact and awareness is increasing. So impact to retail, what I could say at the age, if you look at our research, Capgemini research, right? What matters to today's consumers clearly calls out 80% of the consumers, right? Really want to contribute to fight to the sustainability aspects and, social aware. And 18 to 24 age group, right? They don't mind switching brand. They are looking at, whether the product is sustainable product, because the awareness is increasing, the social responsibility, I can see it's increasing with the younger generation. So every bit of it, people are starting to think about the way I consume, the way I reuse and resell. And one of the recent purchases, I did it as a consumer, I'm talking, in Tata Click, whatever, right, online. Yeah. They said, if you send me the box, what I packed and sent you back, it would be reused. Okay. Right. Yeah. So they are giving credit back to us. So either they'll come and pick up. So it is what I see is, right, the thinking process, both from the retailer as well as the consumer, is much more better, and it will get more better.
Yeah, that's definitely happened. I think it's initiatives like these, even on the, let's say, the, the brand side, which actually also helps drive it. And like you said, people are willing to switch just knowing that a certain brand or a certain kind of product is more sustainable, more, not so harmful for the environment as other things were. I think it's a very, very conscious choice. And of course, it's made it easier, the whole change in the way we do commerce, like online or e-commerce, like you said, has made it easier for us to make these choices, so I can go research, I can find out who is doing things the right way, and then I can choose that brand, obviously, buy it right there. And that's also one of the other things I would be curious about, that this whole digitization of retail, which is this experience. There is no, I think, industry, or I would say sector in retail anymore, which has not been digitized. I think everything, you rarely have to force yourself to go outside to make a purchase. If you, if you chose to, let's say, do it from your home or from your phone or anywhere else for that matter. So what would you say is, how is digitization really sort of doubled down in the last couple of years, and it's completely, let's say, reshaped retail as a field?
So actually, the COVID shook up the world in terms of how the retail is being done, and the basic necessities to apparels to everything,
Yeah.
how it has to be transformed to meet the consumer needs and experience, both ways. Okay, one is fulfillment, another one is experience, both ways.
Right.
So digital, it was a choice for some of our retail customers. Now this has made the COVID situation, or what we have been through last few years, have made that as a mandatory, where the huge investments which they have to make even for survival has to happen through digital. So digital has become a way of life,
Right.
right?
Right.
From consumer standpoint and from the retailer standpoint. So even
Right.
a person who is not aware to read and write, the phones are giving the experience of their local language and the pictorial representation. They just have to know that they read it in their local language and touch it and it happens. And they speak, the orders are taken. So
Correct.
there are, the digital enablement has gone to the core to enable both experience as well as the fulfillment speed. So that is where you see the e-commerce to quick commerce to micro fulfillment, all these are picked up, right? So these are all digital, right? And the another thing which I want to call out is a geofencing, that is also taking care of the personalized experience. If I walk into a curbside pickup, or if I walk into a store or walk beside the store, the coupon starts becoming visible, right? That's how we see it. You can redeem your points and you're just passing by, and
Yeah.
these are special offers for you. That brings the personalization. So consumers are being pampered with personalization.
Right.
And that is picking up. Another one, what I can say, people want to try on before they buy, before they make a call whether I want to go to do shopping outside for a product or a set of things which I want to buy. First they do research now. So what is available in what price, and how do I look if I'm doing buying spectacles, or going to buy spectacles. Forget about the
Right.
power. The glass, how do I look, and painting, how do I want to do my wall. Everything is visually, the experience is done 50 to 70%, and rest of the 30% they verify in the store if they really want to go to the store. Otherwise it is available. So it's a total transformation is what I would say. So
Right.
speed, authenticity, and personalized experience, big shaking points. And now I see that, now when we go to the store as a consumer, I'm getting tempted. They didn't know what I like to see, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Your
want the
expectations
aisles
have
to
changed.
be, expectations have changed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it
Yeah.
is just a starting point in my view, right?
Correct.
So I can
Correct.
keep
No, no.
talking.
No, absolutely. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I think this expectation change is driven because of so much technology enabling, these new experiences around us. Like everything is personalized on our phone. all the pop-ups we get, all the messages we get, the prompts we get seem like they are so intuitive, and usually more often than not, it seems like, let's say it was too, I would say, intuitive. So borderline creepy, if you
Yeah,
call it,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Another thing
and
I
then,
just wanted to add is, so that we started believing more digital than physical.
correct.
So how I look in the mirror is okay, but how I look on the camera on the phone, it
Oh,
doesn't matter. It matters a lot, right? That's
yes.
how I can see the uh, digital taking a dominance,
Oh
right?
my, yeah. That is, I mean, that's another side of this whole, I would say, story, and it brings me to a good new next question as well, because all of these things that technology is enabling in the retail experience is also behind the curtains. There's so much tech which has gone into doing it, right? So when I say personalization and borderline creepy, it's also because there's so much data being crunched about you, your behavior, the analytics behind where you visited, which site you saw. Like you said, even in the physical world, when I'm walking next to a store, all of this data needs to be, obviously is being used and in so many ways. And the scale of data that's there, obviously it's humanly impossible to do it, which means we are using technologies like AI. We're using massive amounts of data to power these sort of personalizations. So that brings me to the exact same question. So, how's the entry of AI changing this experience and this whole space? And it probably has been for some time, but I think it's accelerated because of the amount of digital data that's exploded in these last 2 years. So what would you say about that?
Couldn't agree more on what you said, Shiladitya, because everything is through data. Now that so much of digitization, e-commerce, and all that in place, and even in stores, the POS transactions are captured, right? The data. So we
Right.
have enough and more data to make the personalization and the experience a lot better for the consumer. That is what they want. Okay. If the experience is better, the satisfaction is better, and the repetition or the customer retention also increases.
Yes.
So it drives one after the other. Okay. Personalization, but not killing the privacy, right? So there
Right.
has to be a balance. So how the personalization is being used is an art, and artificial intelligence thinks beyond the human mind. Earlier, I can give you an example. Earlier, if a business has to launch a product or an offer or a campaign, they kind of sit and manage the data, what product they want to launch or what offer they want to launch, and then what are the permutation and combination. A model is built with whatever was possible in a spreadsheet, and whatever. But right now,
Right.
technology drives the business.
Yeah.
How and what segment the campaign has to be tested, and what segment it has to be launched broader, using the consumer data and the pattern and the relevance, gets retailers closer to the customer and
Yeah.
give them personalized experience. AI, the permutation and combinations, limitless with the technologies. What algorithm is being used, the technology drives. So
Yeah.
beyond human minds, you can think of 250 combinations or 250 million combination. There is a huge difference.
Yes.
Okay, so it is going beyond. But at the same time, where it will get to is very important. It has to be explainable at one point, and the
Mm.
data decides everything or drives everything. So data has to be also very unbiased, in the sense
Mm.
you're polling setting up a women retail shop or brand shop for
Mm.
apparels, and you're polling on the data not necessarily only from women, right? Or it has to be a mix of both,
Yeah.
right? So then what happens is the biasing gets eliminated. So a lot depends on what kind of a data we are using and
Right.
how the
The source.
intelligence is run on top of it. So that decides, and it is going to be a learning process. The artificial intelligence learns and get itself better,
Right.
right? And that will drive many things in the world, not only retail, and many other things I can go on, right? So That is definitely one. Personalization, artificial intelligence. And also it can recommend what kind of a shelf you should have in a retail shop, what should sit next to what. Based on the season, based on the situation, it will be recommendation again. Any inventories, sizing, supply chain, anything, right? What is the better way and what is the way I price? What is the way I do the demand sensing? Everything, right? And coming to the consumer, that is completely transformed into experience. So, I mean, I can talk more, but it is going to make more and more impact with respect to the relevance and the growth.
Yeah. I think it's very interesting how you mentioned it's not just the, we are used to seeing the personalization, but behind the scenes, things like the design of the shelf or what to place, what next to each other. I think these are things which are not so obvious. And you, when you experience it, you feel that, oh, this was very, very accurate. And I think that's what AI is doing. It's really thinking almost as if as humans would think, only at massive scale. So that I know we've spoken about pretty much everything that there is to do with how we experience retail today, how we shop today, how we feel. Everything is made personalized, everything is made relevant. So where do we go from here? I mean, how does this become, what's the future? It seems like the future is already here. So what is your outlook on how much more can it become? I mean, how much more cooler can this whole thing become?
It can get a lot more cooler and cooler. I know I was keeping this one and I was waiting, you're going to ask this question or not, because there are a lot more cooler experience. We are gone digital experience, personalization, relevance, and going beyond virtual reality to give a virtual experience before you go to the physical shopping and all that we talked about. And beyond that, now we are seeing the whole retail is being shaken up by NFTs and the metaverse. Okay. So there is a fast tracking market, and the commerce is going to grow there also in metaverse. So, and as you watch the movie, you order for a popcorn, okay, from your TV. I'm just imagining myself, right? So the systems are going to be intermission. Then you say, now it's an intermission. We are watching on TV at home. It says, do you want to order a popcorn now? All right. And your quick commerce connects and you gets you what you want. So again, you are in a metaverse, spending time doing NFTs and visiting your metaverse monument and many other things. You're tired. You want to order your burger right in the metaverse, and then you get it in your home. So a lot of gamification oriented, lot of virtual experience oriented. I would say it is just a starting point. There is a lot more transformation, lot more things which are going to change, which is going to make the experience a lot better for the consumer. Another thing what I'm seeing is the brand one. I did mention about it, right? The stickiness to the brand, and the brands will have to think, how do I continue the stickiness, thinking about sustainability, thinking about how it can be closer and just in need of what the customer want, and the authenticity of the brand. That also becomes very, very important, right? That will continue to grow. The retail stores like Sephora, it's also mentioned in our research report. They talk about more experience and than selling a particular brand. What is a particular product which is suitable for that individual to make that person look good, or set of products which will make that person look good, rather than choosing a particular brand or promoting that brand, right? So those kind of things are going to take prominence. So it's just a starting point.
Wow.
That's what I will say.
Yeah, I think, you mentioned that obviously the physical experience came to, let's say, our phones. Now, I think the only place left to go is us into the phone. So that's where
exactly.
that's the metaverse that we keep hearing about, right? So we are going to dive in, and I think instead of it being 90% digital and 10% physical, it's going to be those worlds are merging. as we can see.
Exactly.
So we'll not even know the difference of what was a digital experience and what was a physical experience. So yes, definitely going to become cooler, like you said. I think who knows how fast that will be. We might be talking in another year or so, and we might already have experienced, let's say, so much more than what we anticipated. Yeah.
Around 800 billion is what I think India itself is looking at for the metaverse, actually. Retail for metaverse. Okay. So it's a big one, actually. It's a future.
No, wonderful. Kalai, thank you so much for sharing everything here with us. I think we had a very interesting conversation in just a few minutes of, starting the journey to where retail is going. We've covered a lot, but I think it's also something which everyone will very much relate to. It's been the perfect sort of topic to talk about here on, the Techipedia series that we're doing. And with this, we are actually, wrapping up our first, let's say, season of this series as well. So it's been very interesting. Thank you so much. I am going to go sign off with everyone, but thank you so much. We look forward to having you again, talk to us, and maybe by then we'll see how the future of retail has evolved even further. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shiladitya. Pleasure meeting you.
COVID has changed every aspect of our lives. When it comes to the retail industry, it has made consumers more aware of their choices. More and more people are opting for sustainable options when it comes to consumption. Come and be a part of this conversation at Capgemini on Instagram and tell us what are some key factors you consider before shopping. Folks, with this episode, we have come to an end of season 1 of Capgemini's Techipedia series. But don't worry, we are coming back for more. Keep a lookout for season 2 of Capgemini's Techipedia series on the IBM Podcast website and app or wherever you get your podcasts.